Right, good morning. We'll do a nice steady warm up just to get us going as it is a Monday morning. Start doing some leg swings forward and back. I'm just going to move my things around so I've got some more space. So don't be too aggressive with the swing first to begin with. Nice and steady. Easy swing forward and back and just work on increasing your range of movement. I had the joy of dragging my children out of bed early this morning to supervise them doing their COVID tests before school, which was fun. Good, and then change legs. Louise, you're going to be able to wrestle the band off her a bit. Kids love those things. It's amazing. Babies like to chew them. Toddlers like to play with them. And then side to side swings. Again, just keep it gentle. You don't have to swing your leg too far across or out to the side. And then change sides. Couple more. And then just move into some nice easy arm circles. Keep your shoulders low and loose. Things popping up on my computer screen. Okay. And then circle your arms back. You might find doing these back circles that your shoulders start to hunch a little bit, so just work on keeping them nice and low. Lovely, well done. Good, and then come up onto your toes and slowly lower down. So you're going to push up quickly and then lower down more slowly. So if you think you're pushing up in less than the 1 beat and lowering down over 1 or 2. So you're controlling that downward movement as much as you can. And you may feel that your core is working a little bit to stabilize you as you lower down to the ground. Think about engaging your tummy, so pulling your tummy in towards your spine. That's it. So if you're doing this in socks or bare feet, you might find it a little bit harder to balance. That's okay. Just do one more. And then just do a few twists from side to side, looking over your shoulder. Your hips will move, but think about your knees staying pointing forward when you do this. You're trying to get as much of the rotation through your waist and your mid-back as you can. Good, and then slowly come down onto the floor and move into rolling your knees from side to side. Arms out to the side. Just let your shoulders drop down. Make sure they're attached to the floor as you move from side to side. Good. And as you start to feel more comfortable doing this, just work on pushing your knees over and just holding it for a tiny second. Really trying to push across. So you should feel a bit more of a kind of stretch and mobilization feeling in your waist. Good. Just do one more to each side. And then stay on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and stretch your arms up above your head. Now, if you haven't got brilliant shoulder mobility, or if your upper back is very tight, then your range of movement will be limited doing this. So the first thing I want you to do is to roll your back down onto the floor. So your whole back, from the small of your back up to your shoulders, is in contact with the floor as much as possible. And that might give you a bit of a stretch and a pull just doing that. And then I want you to slide your arms down, trying to keep the backs of your hands and your elbows in contact with the floor. And just go as far down as you can. You might feel a bit of a pinch in your shoulder blades. If it's uncomfortable, just limit your range of movement. And then slowly slide your arms all the way up above your head. Trying to get your arms as straight as possible. And then down. This is to mobilize across the backs of your shoulders, across your shoulder blades, the middle part of your back. And all the while, just think about not letting your lower back arch off the floor. If your upper back is very tight, your lower back might arch off the floor to compensate. Do a couple more. Well done. And then just bring your arms back down to the floor. Push your hips up nice and high, and then roll your back down to the floor. So bridge and roll down. Taking time to really roll your back down one vertebra at a time. Hi Jane, in the garden, yes. Brilliant. I was just looking out there this morning thinking it won't be long before I can do my sessions outside.
Mark's on the phone very loudly, so...
So it's not really by choice then?
No. Luckily, it's a nice day.
Yeah, exactly. All right, keep going. Just do 2 more of these. Push up nice and high, roll down. Good, and then roll over onto your front into all fours, cat to cow. So arching up and then dipping. Keep going. It's very nice to have the backdrop of birdsong as well. Arch up and then dip. And then staying on all fours, one knee, draw a circle with it. You might find that you're leaning over onto the other leg a little bit. Don't worry too much about that now. Just concentrate on the hip rotation. So think about drawing a nice neat circle with your knee. And then go the other way. So you're staying on the same leg. That's it. You might also feel that the leg that you're leaning on, that glute starts to wake up a little bit as well, which is a good thing. A good secondary effect of this exercise. Change sides, drawing a circle with your knee. Well done. And then go the other way. And take your knees and your feet slightly wider apart. Walk your hands a bit further out in front of you. And you're just going to push down into a child pose. And then up and waggle your hips from side to side a few times. And then go down, push up, waggle from side to side. And that sideways wag, so imagine you're wagging a tail. That should feel really nice. So you kind of feel it in the sides of your bum, maybe even your inner thighs a little bit. So you push down, come up, move from side to side. Good, we'll do 2 more of those. Lovely. Good. Last one. Perfect. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, knees under your hips again. Put one hand to your temple and you're going to tuck under and then stretch up. Now, if your upper back is very tight, this might limit your range of movement. So you can bend the arm that you're resting on to try and tuck under a little bit more. And then change sides. One more. And then we're going to move into the bigger thoracic rotation. So put one foot forward, other hand down, and go for that big reach round and feed through. Just realised that my heating is on. I don't want that. No. Let's get this out of the way. Change sides. Fab, lovely, well done. Good. And then up you get. A little bit of balance to finish off with, so just do some single side hip rotations. I now have to look at the floor. So just rotating one leg. Let's do 10 in each direction on each leg. Keep your tummy drawn in towards your spine. Stand nice and tall. And then go the other way. Good. Nice, well done. Then change legs. So again, like those kneeling hip rotations, you might find that as well as getting some mobilization in one leg, the leg that you're standing on, you might feel that the glutes, the side of your bum start to wake up a little bit. Other way. Keep going. And done. So first set, entirely on the floor this first set. This is where you'll need the band for a progression. So you're going to start with Clam Shell. Lying on your side. You can either lie with your head resting in your hand, or you can have your arm extended and your head resting on your arm, whatever is more comfortable for your shoulder. Draw your knees up. You want your heels to be in line with your bum. And then, depending on your mobility and strength, when you lift that top leg, you might find that your top hip rocks back, which you want to avoid. So if that happens, just put your arm in the small of your back to stop yourself from rocking forward and back. So while you're lifting that top leg, your top hip should stay directly above the lower one. There should be no rock and lean back. Right, off we go. If you're being really strict about this and controlling it, so only letting your leg lift and not your back move forward and back, you might find that your range of movement is a little bit smaller, and that's fine. If you let yourself rock back, then other muscles start to take over from the ones that we're trying to target. Another way you can control it, if it's at all possible, is to lie against something. So you could lie against a chair or a sofa or a wall, and that will stop your top hip from rocking back. 5 seconds. Should be getting a little bit of a burn now. And then roll over other side. So again, draw up your heels. Off we go. Good. Well done. And you may find that one leg is tighter than the other, and maybe you weren't rocking back on one leg, but you are on the other. So if that happens, just put your arm in the small of your back. As soon as I do that, my range of movement is more limited. Okay, 5 seconds. Good. And then roll over onto your front. So all fours again, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. You're going to tuck one knee in and then extend that leg out behind you. So tucking in and extending. And when you extend the leg behind you, try and keep your heel at bum height. So you don't want to have your leg really high up in the air because it will make your lower back work. So tuck in and extend, keeping your tummy drawn up towards your back. Try and keep yourself completely stable through your shoulders and try not to lean on the leg that you're resting on. 5 seconds. Change sides. So you may find that you feel there's more in the side that you're resting on than the side that you're moving. And if that's the case, that's absolutely fine. If it starts to hurt your wrists at all as well, you can rest on your fists like that. Five seconds. Good, and then roll onto your back again. Bridge, arms out to the side. Make sure you've got your heels close enough to your bum that you can very slightly reach forward and tap your heels. They should be quite close in. Your feet, your knees should be hip width apart as well. Before you lift anything, rock back so that your back is in contact with the floor. Pull your tummy down to your spine. Push up and then lower down. Only let your bum tap the floor very lightly. So you're not resting on the floor. This should mean that your glutes stay firing the whole time. So I'm pushing up quite quickly and lowering down more slowly as well. Just think about what your tummy's doing. So as you push your hips up, core brace at the top. Well done. 5 seconds. Good, and then done. Right, second set. Clam shell. If you have a band, time to add the band. So you can either use a hip circle or one of these stretchy small mini bands. If you haven't got that, you can loop the red band into 3. That is a lot harder, but it will do the same job. So whatever you're using, put the band over your knees. And then back to exactly the same position that you're in before. So on your side, off you go. So if you are using a band, you will find that your body will want to kind of cheat a little bit and it'll be more likely to rock back. So be really strict, even if it means your range of movement is tiny. So I'm using quite a high resistance band, which means I can barely lift up my leg. Well done. Good. And roll over, other side. Off you go. Good. So if you are using a band, when you bring your legs back down together, try and keep some tension on your band all the time. Don't let it go slack. So that will mean that your knees don't come in together, and that's fine. Keep going. 2, 1, and done. So you take the band off. It's a bit of a faff, so you get a rest. And then back onto all fours again. We're going to go into a full alternate arm and leg tuck this time. So it's extending, tucking, extending, and then changing arm and leg. So it's that movement. Extend, tuck, extend, and then change sides. So you'll feel a lot more movement through your pelvis doing it this way because your arm is coming off the floor as well. If you can feel that your hips are rocking from side to side a lot, then go back to the leg extension. You should feel like you have some control over the movement through your hips when you're doing this. That's good, well done. Good, keep going. Good, and done. Back onto your back again. So we have some progressions for this. The easiest progression is just to do the same movement you're doing before. So that's getting your back pushed down to the floor, core braced, bring your arms up above your shoulders. That just gives you a little bit of instability to the movement. So when you push your hips up, you might feel they're wobbling a little bit from side to side. The harder progression, pushing your hips up, bringing one leg up like that, and you're going to push up and down on one leg. So only use that progression if you feel that you've got a lot of stability through your hips. What you don't want is to have that leg raised and then you're just collapsing on one side. If you can't keep your hips from collapsing, a little bit of movement's okay, like how you're inching each direction. But if you're really dipped and you can't control it, then do the bridge with the arm raise instead. So choose which one you're going to do. So arm raise is a bit easier, single leg is a bit harder, and I'll shout halfway if you're doing the leg raise. All right, off we go. So I'm going to start with the arm raise, just to show you that one, and then I'll move on to the leg raise. So if you're doing it with a raised leg, you want your leg to be at sort of a right angle, so it's still bent. We've got another round of this to do after this, so if you find that the leg raise is too hard this time, next time round you might be able to manage it. Okay, change sides. You may find that one side's much harder than the other. If you're doing the leg raise, keep your arms on the floor. You don't need to do both. If you are doing the raised leg bridge and you're finding it's really in your hamstrings, not in your bum, then just bring your heels back in towards your bottom a bit more. If your leg's too far out in front of you, it's a bit too much in your hammies. Good, and then done. One more set. So it's back to the clam shell. No further progression. So if you've used the band, just use the band again. All right, we're all good. Let's go. So you might find that your glutes have warmed up a little bit and you're not rocking as much, or you might find that your glutes are fatigued quite a lot and you're finding it more of a struggle to stop that back rock. Whatever might be happening, just put your arm in the small of your back if you need to. Good, 5 seconds. Oh, I did my little bit of a fanny butt of a GoPro, hang on. Change sides. You don't want to see that. There we go. I don't know why it keeps changing the... Oh, well, you can see me all right. Oh. Uh-oh. Whoops. All right. Can you hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. All right. I'll talk you through it, or I'll try and funny about this. Onto the alternate arm and leg tuck again. So roll over, go to that one. I should be able to do this somehow. Oh, God. Okay. I have to initiate plan B. Okay, and then bridge. So again, use the same progression as last time. Sorry, you can't see me. I'm just joining in on my phone. You have to watch that one instead. There we go. Okay. Right, you should be able to see me all right. Can you see me? I'm on my phone, so it's a slightly different angle, but you should be able to see and hear me okay. Change legs. Perfect. Can you see me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can see me. Amazing. Good. And done. Well done. Have a little rest. I'll just tell you what your next exercises are. There shouldn't be any more tech problems, but if I don't notice it, just unmute and shout at me. So the next one, we're going to do 3 exercises, but rather than doing it as a circuit, we're going to do each one and then move on. So the first one is a static dead bug. Just start lying on your back, arms and legs up. So you're going to do this in 3 phases. We're doing 3 sets of 30 seconds. Each time, just a few seconds rest, hugging your knees into your chest. The first one, make this relatively easy. So you basically, the more your knees are pulled in towards your chest, the easier this is. The more your legs drop out towards the floor, the harder it is. And you should feel it really working your stomach muscles kind of around from your navel down. You should feel it there and not in the small of your back. When you get to the point that your stomach muscles have kind of got to their limit, your back will come off the floor, and that's where you have to stop. Your back must stay pushed down hard into the floor all the time. You might find that you start to shake a little bit doing this. That's okay. As long as your back's on the floor, that's all right. So let's start. First phase, 30 seconds. I want you to bring your knees up so they're directly above your hips. And then just let them drop down until you feel a little bit of a kind of pull in your stomach muscles, but your back is still on the floor. And that's where you're going to leave it for the first stage. So you want to make sure that your feet are about the same height as your knees. Arms up. Make sure you can continue to breathe. That helps. 5 seconds. And then just pull your knees into your chest. We'll rest there for a few seconds. And then go again. So go back to where you were before, but try and let your knees drop down towards the floor a tiny bit more. So you're just trying to challenge yourself a bit further with each of these sets. So I'm now having to really concentrate on actively pushing my back into the floor. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then knees into the chest again. Well done. And then final set, arms and legs up again. Try and drop down a bit more. Back staying down to the floor all the time. Keep going, 5 seconds. Starting to shake now. It's quite hard to talk and do this at the same time. 3, 2, 1, and then pull your knees into your chest. So the next one is plank. Basically doing 3 isometric exercises now, which is a static exercise. So the next one is plank. On your elbows, we're going to do 3 sets of 20 seconds. So it's not for very long, but I want you to think about having really, really good form for 20 seconds. So you're on your elbows, hands apart, not clasped together. Make sure you've got your bum tucked under. Don't hunch your back, so your shoulders are dropped down. Tummy pulled up to your spine. 3 sets of 20, and after each 20 seconds, you can either rest on your knees, or you can just drop completely to the floor. It's up to you. All right, get ready. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Have a look at your plank. Beautiful. Lovely, well done. So it's much, much better to hold a really good, perfect plank for 20 seconds than a rubbish one for 5 minutes. And then rest. Plank challenges have finally gone out of fashion, I think. They're terrible. All right, push up again. 2, 1, off you go. Five seconds. 2, 1, and then rest. One more of those. Okay, get ready. 3, 2, 1, and off you go.
Catherine,
Yeah.
it's a bit sore on my back. Can I do it on my knees?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course you can. Drop my knee. That's the last one anyway. You can rest this one out if you need to. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and done. Fab. Right. Charlotte, always take that option if you need to. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing, don't worry, we're not using this, don't panic. There's nothing wrong with doing a half plank, so a plank on your knees. It's still working the same muscles, but it's taking some pressure off your back. Right, so the reason I'm moving these around will become apparent in a second. You get to use them soon, Lou. Right, last one is a wall sit. If you don't have available wall space that you can use easily, you can do a held squat. If this means going off the camera, I don't mind, but I want you to do a wall squat. So that's against a wall, feet and knees slightly more than hip width apart, making sure that your knees are the same height as your hips. If that irritates your knees in any way, then just raise up a little bit, okay? But try and do this with your knees and your hips at the same height. We're going to try for 3 sets of 30 seconds. So if you can find somewhere now to go, I'm going to stop actually and let you get into find a wall to sit against. If you can't find an available wall space, then your other option is to just hold a squat and hold that for 30 seconds. Yeah, a door's good, Nick, that worked. All right, get ready. 2, 1, off you go. So you can get more time out of a wall squat by rotating your hips back, pushing your back into the wall, keeping your shoulders pressed into the wall. This is a core exercise. Probably feeling it quite a lot in your thighs, but that's okay. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, push up and rest. So we're going to try for 3 sets of 30 seconds for those. So you'll feel it a lot in your quads, but your tummy should be working as well. Right, get ready. 2, 1, down. So keep your back pushed into the wall. If 30 seconds is just too much, you can rest early. Remember, if you feel anything in your knees, pulling your knees at all, just come up the wall a bit. 5 seconds. Just looking at pretty things outside to get my mind off it. 3, 2, 1. Up. Oh, one more of those here. I'm just amazed at how much that pushes your heart rate up. Right, get ready. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Down you go. Yuck. Oh, just sort of, yeah, think of something lovely. Oh, almost there. 3, 2, 1. Oh, need a kind of Vic Reeves thigh rub now. Well done. So put this bar back because I'm over my mat and crack on. So we've got another final set to do. Okay. Right. 4 exercises. So this one will involve a weight for a squat. So you can do a weighted squat for this one. We're going to start with a dead bug, but it's a dead bug crunch. So this is for a little bit higher up. So you should feel this working up here more than low down. Bring your legs up into dead bug position, put your hands behind your head like that, and you're just going to crunch up and down. And if you want to make it more challenging, drop your legs down to the floor. So when you're doing a crunch, it's really, really important that you don't bring your chin to your chest. Imagine you've got a rope attached to your chin, and your chin is being pulled up to the ceiling. If you can feel it in your neck, you can just make a sort of cage around the back of your head with your fingertips to support your head, but don't pull your chin onto your chest. So that's the first one. I'll demonstrate these as we go rather than doing the whole circuit. So just doing 30 seconds of these, so legs up in dead bug position and crunch up. And doing this crunching movement will push your back onto the floor as well, so this shouldn't be too challenging for your back. Well done, keep your chest as open as possible as well, so don't let your elbows come in. Keep them down towards the floor. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Next one, plank rows. Charlotte, I'll give you a back-friendly option for this if it hurts. So full straight arm plank. You might want to have your feet quite wide apart for support, and you're going to do a palm row like that. So you're rocking from side to side, bringing your hand up. If that's too challenging, onto your knees, same movement. That's much nicer for your back if it hurts. 30 seconds, into position. Okay, 2, 1, off you go. So this is a rotational movement. You're rocking from side to side doing this, but you want to try and resist the rock. So try and stop yourself from leaning around from side to side too much. Wider feet will help that if it's really too difficult to control. Good, and then done. Next one. With a weight, if you have one, don't worry if you haven't. Goblet squat, so you're holding the weight to your chest. Just go down as low as is comfortable. We haven't done any squatting yet today, so that's going to limit how low you can go comfortably. So if it's just there, that's fine. But when you get to the lowest comfortable point of your squat, hold for 3, and then drive up and stand up nice and tall. Off you go. Good. Keep going. Well done. Chest height's really important, so I don't want you bending over, high chest. Good. 5 seconds. Good, and then back onto your back. Lynn, it's good to see the bottle of, what is it? That's done you a full year. Is that the same one? Amazing. If we have sort of lockdown time capsules, we'll have to put that in there. Onto your back. Head up in your hands like that. Lower back push down, bent leg drops. So we're just going single. Tapping your heel really lightly. The aim for this is that your heel hits the floor with absolutely no noise at all. So don't just let it drop down. Silently tap it to the floor. Well done. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then dead bug crunch again. So it's back to dead bug crunch. So your feet are staying in the same position. Crunching up. 2, 1. Off you go. So I always find when I do these exercises, the back of my neck starts to hurt quite quickly, probably because it's just massively tight all the time anyway. So if I make a little cage around the back of my head with my fingers just to support my head more, then it helps. And the other thing you can do is to push your tongue into the roof of your mouth, which helps to switch off those muscles at the back of your neck. Three, 2, 1. Over onto your front. So when you're doing this plank row, similar kind of principle as those bent leg drops, that when you're returning your limb back down, you should be able to control it. If you find that you're really hitting hard, take the easier option. So go down onto your knees and take the easier way of doing this. Off you go if you haven't started. So again, you should be placing your hand quietly, slowly, silently down to the floor. Unless it's mine, which is sticking to my mat. 5 seconds. And then up you get into squat. And finally might be the layer at the end of the session. So grab your weight. Three, two, one, off you go. Down, hold for 3. And then stand up nice and tall. Good. So really push your weight back into your heels as you stand up as well. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then bent leg drops. How long have we got? Perfect. Got time for 3 sets. Onto your back. Head up in your hands. So this time, if you want to go single, single, double, go for it. Off you go. So only progress to this one if you can control your lower back when you drop both legs to the floor. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then into the dead bug crunch again. So last set, legs up, hands behind your head. 2, 1, off you go. Remember those ropes attached to your chin. Don't let your chin come onto your chest. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Over onto your front, into plank. It's absolutely fine to take the easier option for this. Off you go. Well done. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Weighted squat. And off you go. Be really strict about how long you're holding at the bottom. 3 good seconds. 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant. I think I said elephant quite quickly this time. Well done. 5 seconds. Good, and then onto your back. Last exercise of the day. So head in your hands. Single to double. If you find the single very easy, you can just go to a double leg drop, the last one if you want to. As long as your back's okay. Lovely, well done. Last 10 seconds. Good, 2, 1. Done. Well done. Right, roll onto your front. Into child pose. And we'll stretch out already. Well done. So when you've got your head resting on the floor and your bum on your heels, just use your fingers to pull your arms forward a bit. And then I want you to feed one arm underneath, like that. And just drop down to that a little bit. Try and get a stretch across back of your shoulder. If it feels at all uncomfortable in your shoulder as well, then just release it up, bring it up a little bit. Change sides. And then come up into cat stretch. And then from there, let's go into hip flexor. So 1 foot forward. Tuck your bum under before you start to do anything else, and then push forward. And as soon as you've got yourself into position and you're kind of comfortable, reach across. Go straight into that this morning. That's it. And then pushing across as much as you can. Just want to lean back ever so slightly. And you might feel a bit of a stretch going down the sort of side of your tummy. And then change sides. So other leg forward. Tuck your hips under. Push forward. So again, when you've got comfortable, lean across. And then just bring yourself back a little bit. So this shouldn't pinch in your lower back, it should increase the stretch in your hip flexor. And then slowly come up to stand. Hang on to something if you need to. Go into a quad stretch. So tucking your bum under, pulling that leg up behind you. Well done. Where's the sun gone, Jane? Is that it? Change sides. Charlotte, I never get bored of looking at your leggings. They're so cool. Good. And then stand with your feet just about shoulder width apart. Roll down. Just let yourself hang down, get a bit of stretch across the backs of your legs. And then really slowly roll up, keeping your arms tight to your body. And stretch up nice and high. And done. Well done. Good work.
That was really good.
Well done.
Very good.
There's some challenging stuff in there this morning.
Yeah, the one against the door was the worst, or the wall.
It's awful. It's awful.
That is the worst.
But they are, isometric exercises are very good for us. So
Yeah.
think of the benefits. Always think of the benefits.
Yeah. No, I'd have to practice that on my own.
Yeah, just build up in kind of 15, or no, sorry, 5
Yeah.
second increments. Start at 15 seconds and slowly build up.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you weights to hold when you're doing it.
Thank you.
Catherine,
Yeah.
what's the best way to have a quick conversation with you?
I can stay online now for this if you want to.
Okay, but
5 minutes.
no one else needs to listen.
Everyone go away. I'll stop
Thanks,
recording.
Catherine.
See you later, darling. Let me just press stop record.